smiled by day and bewitched by night. Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by tall grass and ancient baobab trees, there lived a man named Karamo with his wife Awa and their 3 children. Their home was small, but peace lived there like a gentle fire. Every evening, laughter came from their compound. Their goats were healthy, their harvests were good, and travelers often stopped to greet them because kindness flowed naturally from that family. People used to say, when blessings walk through the village, they rest first in Karamo's house. But not every eye that watches happiness rejoices in it. Not far from Karamo's compound lived a man named Bintakemo. He was quiet, always smiling softly, always greeting people with calm words. During the day, he acted like a harmless neighbor. He prayed with others, spoke gently, and often sat with elders discussing wisdom. But inside him lived a terrible envy. Each time he heard laughter from Karamo's house, his heart tightened. Each time he saw Awa cooking while the children played happily around her, darkness grew inside him. One evening, while sitting alone under the fading sun, he whispered to himself, "Why does peace live in that house and not mine?" And envy, when fed long enough, becomes poison. That year, the rains came beautifully. The sky opened with long silver storms, and the earth smelled rich and alive. The villagers danced barefoot in the mud while drums echoed through the night. Karamo's farm became the finest in the village. His millet stood tall and golden. His animals multiplied. But across the narrow path, Bintakemo watched silently from the shadows of his hut. That night, the moon was shining very bright. There were no clouds. The wind moved strangely, as if carrying whispers through the trees. While the village slept, Bintakemo walked alone into the forest carrying a small black calabash wrapped in red cloth. Deep inside the forest lived an old spirit worker feared by many. People said he spoke to forces that fed on envy and pain. The old man looked into Bintakemo's eyes and asked, "What do you seek?" Bintakemo replied softly, "I want the light to leave Karamo's house." The old spirit worker became silent for a long time. Then he said, "Darkness always asks for payment." But envy had already eaten Bintakemo's conscience. He answered, "Take whatever must be taken." After that night, strange things began slowly. Karamo's youngest child fell sick without reason. The family goats began dying one after another. Awa started waking from terrible dreams, sweating and trembling. Sometimes, deep in the night, she heard footsteps moving around the compound though no one was there. One evening, she told Karamo, "Something is wrong. I feel eyes watching this house even when no one is outside." Karamo tried to stay strong. But then the crops failed. Then came sickness. Then arguments entered the home like invisible smoke. The laughter disappeared. And through it all, Bintakemo continued smiling during the day. He would come and say, "Ah, my brother Karamo, may God make things easier for your family." But at night, while others slept, he buried charms near their compound and spoke dark words into the wind. Years passed. Karamo died tired and broken. Awa grew old with sorrow in her eyes. Their children scattered to different villages searching for better lives, but wherever they went, misfortune followed strangely behind them. Some lost businesses suddenly. Some marriages collapsed without explanation. Others suffered strange illnesses no healer understood. People began whispering, "That bloodline carries a shadow." And like that, suffering moved from one generation to another like a hidden snake traveling through grass. Meanwhile, Bintakemo grew wealthy. People respected him. But peace never entered his sleep. Every night he dreamed of dark rivers and faceless people standing outside his hut. Sometimes he woke hearing children crying in the wind. The spirits he called had begun eating his soul slowly. One stormy night, lightning struck the great tree beside his compound. Thunder shook the village so hard that people screamed awake. The next morning, Bintakemo was found alone in his hut, cold and lifeless, his eyes wide open in terror. The elders whispered, "Darkness has collected its debt." But even after his death, the curse remained on Karamo's bloodline. Many generations later, a boy named Alpha was born into that family. From childhood, he was different. While others accepted things without question, Alpha always asked, why? Why did suffering follow their family? Why did misfortune move like a shadow through generations? Why were people afraid to speak openly? The elders warned him, do not question these things too deeply. But Alpha could not stop searching. He studied wisdom from elders, healers, travelers, and holy men. But unlike many, he did not seek power. He sought truth. And most importantly, he remained good-hearted. He helped the poor, respected people, and refused to hate even those who mocked him. One old blind woman finally told him the hidden story of Binta Kemo and the jealousy that poisoned their bloodline long ago. That night, the moon hid behind thick clouds. The wind blew cold and restless. Alpha sat awake until dawn thinking deeply. Then he said softly, darkness survives where fear survives. But truth is stronger than fear. For many months, Alpha cleaned the abandoned family land. He prayed. He helped people. He rebuilt broken graves. He returned kindness where his family had returned bitterness. The villagers laughed at him. Some said, goodness cannot fight old darkness. But slowly, strange things changed. The nightmares stopped. The illnesses became fewer. Children from the bloodline began surviving and prospering. For the first time in generations, peace entered their homes again. And the elders finally understood something important. The curse had not only lived in witchcraft. It had also lived in despair, hatred, and hopelessness passed from one wounded heart to another. Alpha broke it not through darkness, but through truth, courage, wisdom, and goodness. Years later, when Alpha became old, children would gather around him asking, Grandfather, is witchcraft real? And he would stare quietly at the evening sky before answering, yes, but envy is the greatest witchcraft of all. A jealous heart can poison generations. And the strongest protection is wisdom, goodness, courage, and a clean soul. Moral of the story. Some enemies smile with you during the day, while destroying you in secret at night. Hidden envy is a darkness that can outlive generations. But no curse is stronger than truth, goodness, and the courage to question.
بين المسريخ بين المسريخ عبد العزيز دبع سما خريا ملين جن الورد بين المسريخ بين المسريخ عبد العزيز دبع